Banana and Bears Rugby Pod.
Welcome everybody to another episode of Banana and Bear Rugby Podcast. I don't believe we got the microphone working because we are both idiots. That's what it has transpired. When it comes to these kind of things, the last time I made it work was with a youth into 20-year-old person made it work. But it doesn't matter because Anna has braved the storms of La Rochelle, and thank God you're with us. How are you keeping?
Thank God. Yeah, good. Like I said, I was saying to there a minute ago, I swear it was like I swam to work this morning, taught for 2 hours and then swam home again. I was soaked. But at least like my lesson was from 8 to 10 a.m. Fair play to the students. They come in very bright-eyed and bushy-tailed on a Wednesday morning. But then I was done and they had to stay in school with their wet shoes and socks, so I actually felt sorry for them. But busy, things are ramping up, and I shouldn't. Again, you're the busiest man in Ireland, so I won't complain too much. But all good. Started the season as well. We played our first game last.
How'd you get on?
Good. Yeah, we won. We won. So it's against Perpignan, which was the team that was that I was in conversation with about going there, and then I decided against it.
And was there a kind of a pull your collar kind of sheesh moment, like when you ran into like the backroom staff friends and I was like,
no, there was a small bit, I suppose, but like I kind of nipped that in the bud straight away, just went over because I know them as well, and at least I know them from talking to them over the summer as well. But it was very clear, what my intentions were and everything, and it was very honest and good conversation. So it was good. It was nice, and they had a fucking trip home for them afterwards, I say, but we won 65-0.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, so they're in a tough place.
Hold on. You just let that roll off the tongue there. 65-0. Like, were you allowed to shoot one or two of them or what? Like, Jesus Christ, you steamrolled them.
We did steamroll them. I think they had 13 forwards. So they had all like load of players playing out of position and stuff. So tough old gig for them and a long old road.
Okay.
In Perpignan.
Your tail between your legs.
But it wasn't raining there.
Oh, yeah.
When they told me it wasn't raining there, I almost hopped on the bus with them. Make my transfer straight away because the weather is fucking terrible here.
I'd tell the truth. You walk back into the changing rooms going, Jesus Christ, dodge that bullet. You could have been their number. You could have been one of their back row players, like taking 65 Queen T across the back of the neck and having to traipse all the way back. You're going, Jesus Christ almighty. Sheesh.
Yeah. So actually, because I've been, again, like always managing like little niggles here and there, especially with my back as well at the moment, which I think I was telling you about before. It wasn't a hugely attritional game, which was a good start for me physically. So I felt kind of good after it. Feeling good in training this week. Still managing a few niggles, but all good. But we went to the men's game on Saturday.
Yes.
And we were presenting our Bouclier to the crowd.
Which is for anybody who's just tuned in for the first ever time, it isn't like, because you made that sound lovely, like a big bunch of flowers. It was your trophy. Like you showed your trophy to the crowd. Like you went, and then we brought out a bouquet. A bouquet.
The bouquet, the lady of the house speaking. Yeah. So we have two Bouclier because we won the two divisions. But it's not like a trophy. It's a different kind of experience. I love a good trophy that you can take a swig from, and
it's a big shield, isn't it? It's a big shield.
Yeah, it's a massive, heavy fucking. Like you can barely lift it on your own. Like you have to get into full on squat position to lift it up. Like
what?
And we were like, oh, it's heavy. We actually had a competition to weigh it, and I cannot remember what the final answer was, but it's fucking heavy and it's awkward as hell. Like there'd be messages going in like, where are the Bouclier? Who has the Bouclier? And it's like, oh, I'll bring them, but you have to have a car. Like I can't ever look after the Bouclier because I don't have a car.
I love that it's like you could bring it to a fairground and put it in a pen, and people would have to guess the way. Do you remember, like, on Unbelievables, guess the way to pass Scanlon?
Yeah. Yes. And people would be kind of feeding it sweets to make it heavier.
Yeah, turn it around there. Let me have a look at the time quarters there. I'll, get it up so I can have a look at
Yeah.
it.
But it's so funny because we were so they were playing Leon in the stadium, and it was actually between all the shire. It was a lovely evening, and it's still warm here because it's kind of stormy season, so at least it was kind of warm. But we were going in. We met outside. Now I was a little bit. My perception of what was going to happen was warped because with Munster, whenever we've been invited to one of the men's games, we're all hospitality. We make a huge night of it. We come out on the pitch at halftime and wave to everyone. And I came in and everyone was standing around. I was like, lads, when are we going inside? They were like, Anna, this is it. We
Ah.
didn't even have seats. And I was like, for fuck's sake. I was like, we're all playing tomorrow. The 2 first games of the season tomorrow, and we were all fucking standing around. We actually had to go inside to sit down to watch. I was like, this is great. And then they told us, no, you're not coming on at halftime. You're going to go out at the end when everyone's leaving.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Jesus
The end
Christ.
of it. Then we went out on the pitch, which was very bizarre because the men had finished and they always do a little lap of honour. So it was nice, like to kind of do the lap of honour with the lads. But I'd say people were like, you know, they were halfway out the door, like people would be turned facing the exit, giving you a clap, you know.
But why not bring you out at the break? Like, what did they have, the under sevens or something, or what was scheduled
No,
in at the break?
there was a kicking competition.
For fuck's sake. Could they not have put
No.
you in the competition at least just to... Do you know what?
I know.
I'm telling you,
I don't say it.
why have a kicking competition? Have the pass Scanlon guess the way to the Bouclier with the audience. Somebody wins, dinner with the team or something like. Jesus, they missed a trick there. I need to get into the marketing here for La Rochelle. This is disgraceful.
I know. That reminds me of the time down in Australia. They have Ladies' Day at the club. And we weren't playing that day, so we were able to kind of get all dressed up, and there was a few like men's matches on for Ladies' Day, like. And this fella came around recruiting people for the race at half time. He was like, there's going to be a race. I need volunteers. I need volunteers for it. It's for a Hoover. And I was like, what? You're giving away a Hoover. I can't. And your man was like, it's for a Hoover, like announcing this. And I was like, Jesus Christ. Anyway, when we run the race and you're 1-1, it was a Dyson hair dryer. Hoover. So, yeah. I wish, we could have done that, guess the weight, and had played the kicking game ourselves and won it. But anyway, it was a nice evening. They gave us beer and chopped sausage afterwards, but sure, no one was drinking because we were playing on Sunday.
They knew full well what they were at. Here, have a beer.
Absolutely. That's why it was so funny. I was giving out before and being like, "Oh, I can't believe we're wasting our night in the corporate box because we're playing the next day. We can't even take full advantage of it." And then they're like, "Anna, there's no corporate box." It's like, for fuck's sake! I was like, I would have at least sat in the corporate box and not drank all the fucking beer. Anyway, shut up. Next time we win the French Championship, maybe.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. And did the men win?
They did, yeah. They had a good few good tries in the second half. It was a good game. Yeah, they're delighted. They're joint top now. Joint top.
Right. Well, I mean, look at fair play to him. But it's early doors. Yeah. It's early doors.
Oh yeah.
And I know, Jesus Christ, it's like, well, my phone knows that I'm about to talk to you, right? So earlier on today, I had no intentions of talking about Antoine Dupont, but of course he's off like playing, training with fucking American football teams and everything. But I don't know where he is, but it looks English. I could be wrong, but it looks English. He was in a park, whether it was at the dog or whatever. He was just in a park, and his father and son were chucking a rugby ball around, and they just both looked at him and went, "Look who it is." So the father, it's been a few years since he threw a spin pass anyway, that's for sure, over 10 meters. So he had to hoof it over maybe maybe 20, 30 meters to Dupont. And Dupont is just there with his, I don't know, it's his dog or whatever, and he catches it. And it's like, I know who I am, but fucking watch this. And he throws, the reverse pass. Like,
Ah,
sweet.
stop.
Yeah, and he's landing it right in the kid's breadbasket, like, and then they pass it back and he throws another one again. And they're bullets, like faster than you could ever throw forward in the regular way, like these bullets. And then he just waves them off. It's like, God, you're a cool bastard. You are a cool bastard. He rocks up and
I
parks.
haven't I haven't seen that at all. I
I'll
must
find
have a
I
look.
I'll find it. I'll find it and send it to you.
Because I
I
thought he was back training with Toulouse.
maybe this could have been filmed, yourself a month ago. Like easy.
Yeah,
Or
yeah,
it
yeah.
could have been in Toulouse. It just had an Englishy vibe to it. The grass in the park looked less French, if you know what I mean. I'm just going on the grass.
Yes.
But
Hmm.
I I have I'm trying to mend my ways. You know the way I've been kind of ripping into South Africa the last couple of weeks. And
Right.
no, I'm trying to mend my ways because I think it's a bad negative thing to do. Is to because I had to have a
Hmm.
word with myself going, this could spiral out of control, Tom, and you could actually just make enemies for no reason at all with South African rugby. Not that,
Hmm.
I'm not sure they're stressing about it, but at the same time, so I I've started to listen to Razi's audiobook, and
Yes.
I'm glad I didn't try and read it because I would have packed in after page two. The
You just
names,
looked at
the,
yeah.
the names, and then for the first chapter, he decides to lead with like the Afrikaans phrase. So my mother turned to me and said, Mummy said to
Yeah.
me, and then he would translate it. I'm like, are you filling up half the fucking book with just Afrikaans? And then, but in fairness, it was just to lead you in that he was proud enough to say that he was out of an Afrikaan. It wasn't him speaking, but a guy that sounds very like him. But every page, do you ever get to a part in a book where you're like, "Jeez, I can't read that word," but I'll make up my own version of it, and it keeps on showing
Yeah.
up in the
Like
book.
Hermione like
Yes,
Hermione Granger.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Exactly. And that's what would have happened to me. I would have had to just make up what I thought it sounded like. There was definitely none of the,
Right.
that wouldn't, but it's a way better impact when a fella's reading it who actually sounds like he should sound. But yeah, in fairness, it's a decent listen so far. Um, Tough enough I was
Cool.
stationed at home when he was a young fella, but I'm only a couple of chapters in. Seems like a bit of a gas character back in the day. All the same, you can see where why he's a bit eccentric. Do you know that kind of way? He was like, nah, I just thought of things this way. But yeah, I'm mending my ways
Cool.
with South Africa. I am. I don't think it's healthy to
Yeah.
create an enemy
No.
of an entire nation.
Good. I'm glad because
I'm off to South
now
Africa,
I'll
says
feel
Anna.
no, I'm not. Not yet anyway. Sorry, I need to sneeze. Oh fuck. Oh, oh, it's gone. Um no, I'm glad because I won't feel so bad now when I bring up South Africa and you're like, ah, fuck 'em. You know?
Look, I'm not saying it's going to be a smooth transition. There's going to be moments of me going, ah, for fuck's sake. But I'm
But
doing my
Razzie he's an interesting boy.
That's
He's
yeah.
like,
He definitely didn't go to the like, and it's not that I would hold anybody indifferent to come because they just came from a more privileged background, but he certainly did not come from any form of privileged background whatsoever. And
so what he's talking about is true from his own experience.
exactly, and that's where I was kind of going,
Yeah.
all right,
Yeah.
but and it would seem anyway, from the stories from his childhood that he was a good egg despite he could have been a bastard. Do you know what I mean? He could have gone another way, like
Yeah. Yeah, yeah,
um
yeah.
given
I
just a
think
tough upbringing, like
he needs to be studied, I think.
for sure. They've even now maybe there'll be more pour out in the book, but there's definitely bits that have skimmed through are like, why did you think like that when nobody was thinking like that back in the day? There doesn't seem to be an
Yeah.
origin story as to why he was such an outlier of a thinker, but it would seem in his playing days the best the best he played at was when he didn't actually think too much about every and just took things instinctively. Do you know, he just
Yeah.
was an instinctive player.
Well,
So
that's unfortunately that's true for a lot of fucking players because coaches need to have so much control now.
yes, yeah,
Um, and system-based rugby has really taken over, and the pendulum has swung too far, where you're overlooking the potential strengths of someone who could have been as good as, Razzie Erasmus or whatever. But actually, do you know you were talking about that now? I might read it because I've been avoiding sports autobiographies for a long time now because they were getting far too much into my head. I was
yes,
getting too much
yeah.
into my own head about it. So I've been avoiding them. I've been reading novels, at least trying to get back into reading. But actually, I think I might give that a go.
I don't think this one will be too much because, in fairness, it's fairly far removed from your, like, it's very Afrikaans, like, it's very South
Yeah,
Africa. So far, anyway, I've got to maybe
yeah.
chapter 4, and I don't think it'll get too far into your head. I think you'll be a happy spectator, like, in that it's, it's like, oh, Jesus, I don't relate to any of this at all. Do you know, this is stone mad, do you know, and where he came from, like, and stuff like that. So it's, I think you'll be all right for as far as I've gotten anyway. I think it's just like I bowed out of Rob Kearney's one. I tried listening to Rob Kearney's one, and yeah,
Who does that voiceover? Just is he doing it himself?
no, no, he's not, and
Is it
probably
is the big D forehead?
no, he didn't. He didn't do it. He
Okay.
didn't. Somebody else did it. I
But
think,
is the other person that's doing it a big D forehead?
yeah, yeah, a
It's
bit now,
funny.
and it's a tough listen, but also it's like there's you kind of want a bit of drama, like, and there's a bit, obviously, there's a bit of, uh, extreme family sadness right at the beginning of it, like, and but other than that, it was like, oh, Jesus Christ, we're going from one training session to the next here. Now, there was a few bits, all right, that I liked, but he could have cut loose so much more in the book where there was a guy,
Mm,
there was a journalist who was wrecking his head. Like, he was just running him down for like 3 or 4 years. And I won't name him anyway if I could fucking name him, but I can't name him. I'm not going to name him. But he walked into the
mm,
pub where Ireland had bowed out of the World Cup at the time in 2019, was it? I think it was 2019. It could have been the previous one. It could have been 2015. I can't remember. But
yeah.
there was a few, him and a couple of his buddies were in this pub. It was in Japan, it was, in this pub. And your man happened to walk in, and he says, something I've never done in my life. I just stood up and went, get the fuck out of this fucking pub. And your man just reversed back out the door. It was what,
No way.
but I was like, come on, give us more of that, Rob. And there was no more of that. There was no more of that. Do you know, whereas Sean O'Brien's book is full of that. It's full of that
Yeah.
kind of carry on, like, and it's
It's
Sean
just
reading it with a big thick fucking Carlo accent, which makes it
yeah.
hilarious.
Did Rob Carney ever talk about whether that was um him having sex on the balcony? Was that him? Do you remember seeing that video?
No, I never saw no video. I don't think it did
No,
anyway.
it wasn't. It was this couple having sex on a balcony and people were saying it looked like Rob Carney.
I
And it was
bet
directed at Rob Carney.
there's no way it was Rob Kearney.
No way.
Judging by what I listened to in that book, it was like, no, that's no, 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 no. It wouldn't have been. It might have been Sean O'Brien, but it wouldn't have been Rob Kearney. It might have been fucking Razzie, but it wasn't fucking.
Sure. Yeah. Anyway.
Anyway, getting on to the rugby that we had at the weekend.
The real rugby. This is way more interesting than the real rugby.
I
Even though, to
know
be fair, we had a good old Munster show this weekend.
we did. I did. Do you know what? There's a strong chance that a few boys listen to the podcast and listen to my exclamation of whoa from last week, because
Well, it wasn't that bad. Munster were shy.
they pure were though. This is like, you wouldn't say it if they were shite every week. This is the thing. Like, just like when your
No,
friends,
no, no.
do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? If your
Sure,
friend,
Jesus. They fucking knew it themselves.
Of course they did. Do you know what I mean? They were like, what the and everybody can have a glitch in the matrix. Like everybody, start of the season too, the engine is cowled. You just, and a couple of, a few things moved, but they obviously got well motivated during the week, I would imagine, because the most horrendous yellow fucking storm warning in Cork on Saturday
Oh yeah.
night. It was
Oh,
disgusting, the rain was. It was
people at
rotten.
the match. There was people at the match in their swimming gear, in
Yeah,
goggles and hats.
brilliant. It was absolutely brilliant. You love to see that carry on. Like just people just being legends, hoping they'll get caught. And I'm delighted they got caught in camera. Like it was just wearing their swimming hats and fucking goggles and everything. But
Very good.
but yeah, like the aggression, the the aggression that they showed at the breakdown was it was just ferocious. For every hit, they were bouncing back up and just hitting somebody again. Do you know what I mean? Just showing that they actually have it. It was so
Do you know
aggressive.
what I? Do you know what it's reminding me of? I was speaking to a friend there this week about something she was doing in work, and it was analyzed. Like a manager came to look at it, and they weren't too happy with it, so she worked her whole off to get it right. And then the manager was really happy with it. She did a really good job. I was like, that's the focus that you needed to bring into that Munster match. That level of, okay, this is my job. I need to show how well I can do this job to keep my job.
Yeah.
Like, rugby aside, like when you're like, fuck, like, I can't be fucking up like that. Like I need to, when you're like looking at every detail, you're fucking wrecked, but you're getting the adrenaline from like needing to get it right. That's what it reminds me of.
Well, it's interesting. I
What
heard,
you're talking about.
yeah, it's very interesting you say that because a memory came shooting into my head years ago. I remember speaking with a guy, very wealthy man from a posh road in Dublin. Nice fella. But he was telling me that he was actually Ian Madigan's mentor outside of rugby, and
Hmm.
he was a self-made, very successful man, but never came off a 10 every day. That's the way his brain was. Just everything was at 10.
Hmm.
And Madigan would often ring him the morning of a match for a mind frame kind of to be outside rugby rather than just talking to a rugby person, to talk to somebody. How do I switch? How do I switch on for, to be at 11
Yeah.
even today? Like, so it was interesting, that guy had that approach, but, and you were thinking the same because it was so evident. It wasn't just that it was a wet night, and the Ospreys are not bad. Like they used to be pants, but they're actually good now. But
Yeah.
and they, like there was long periods where they Munster weren't scoring. Now they went on and won like 23-0. And by the way, honorable mention, and you have Shea McCarthy as your name tonight. Fastest try in URC history. Like there was no
Unbelievable.
that was no fluke that Jack Crowley did that. He knew full well what he was doing, catching your man cold in the pissings of rain, bounced off his shoulder,
Yeah.
and Shea McCarthy in like a rat up a drain pipe, was in on the ball and
Yeah.
get the down over the line. And I think was it
I was
10 seconds, was it?
14. Oh, I think it was 14. Maybe 10 by the time the ball. I thought it was 14,
Or
but
maybe by
I
the
was
time it was given. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah. I was in McNulty's
Of
Arms,
course.
and I met some people from Limerick in there last year, and they were back again for the weekend. They were actually texting me about tickets for the match. Shout out to Jerry and Megs if they're listening. And they're from Richmond, and he was saying like, Shea McCarthy's playing tonight, Shea McCarthy, and then like
That's a
literally,
very good. That's a very good limerick. That's very good.
oh, Richmond kid, like fucking true and true Richmond, like, and our arses had barely touched the fucking stools of the bar, and he was over for the try. I was like, what the fuck? Like we'd not even
Brilliant.
talking about him like 10 seconds before, and he was on the score sheet. It was class, and Jerry was standing up like, oh my god, like unbelievable. So That's why I, as well as like you say, the fastest try, I had it was a nice moment to share with like people from the same club. So yeah, that's my
Class.
name for the podcast tonight, Shane McCarthy.
Shane McCarthy.
Yeah.
That's very good. That's very good impression. They yeah, they destroyed him in every way, purely based on aggression and want, but very much helped by Jack Crowley and Craig Casey in unbelievable form. Like you wouldn't think, like the cameras don't show the rain until they're down pitch side. So it looked you could just take it that
Yeah,
the way they were playing was like a sunny day. That's that's the
yeah.
confidence and flow state. They both were just switched on. And Jack Crowley's first
And
start in a while, but I mean they were just switched on. Like,
and you,
but
you know what? This whole sorry, go on.
no,
You
that
weren't finished.
go ahead.
That those two, right? There's been like question marks over like, especially after last week, like Munster's leadership and all the injuries and who's going to take. They're the two.
Yeah,
They're your leaders. They're the two that have the capabilities. Like and with kind of Crowley's cool head and Casey's like kind of frantic energy, like that combo, they should be your almost your co-captains. Young, fucking, they've probably been in the shadows of good leadership for a while, so they're maybe not too, up for taking the reins, but they gotta take them. I think that's especially given how well they played. That's what you need. That's what Munster need to hang their hat on now. Two
I
of them.
think I think you're 100% right. I don't think they would shirk it. I don't think they would shirk, the
No,
responsibility.
not shirk, but maybe holding back, maybe slightly
Well,
because
if
of
there's more to come, I'd be very excited. Like because the confidence, the crowd was just pulling off these chip kicks and just pulling off stuff. You're like, what? It's piss and rain up the jersey kind of stuff. Nah, not at
mm,
all.
mm, yeah.
He just looked in, and of course, when you're getting a service like Jesus, like this is I love the protection of the scrum half now, like that. There, the willingness to have to get it away because
Yeah.
it's his speed. He picks the perfect lines. Even if there's fellas lying in the way, he's not looking for it now. He's just jumping straight over him, like a mini racehorse. Jumps straight over him
Yeah.
and whoop, got ball gone. And I mean, he's still got man of the match coming off 50 odd minutes. At 50 odd minutes, he's still got man of the match for what he generated in the time he was on. Now, poor poor old poor old Conor Murray. I mean, he's done it all. You know what I mean? A three-time lion and everything. So you give him the benefit of the
Yeah.
doubt, but I don't know if you saw out the back of a ruck, and he didn't know whether he was going to pass it or go himself, and the ball just flopped out of his. It was just the saddest thing to see it flopping out of his hand. You're like, Jesus,
I
and
didn't see that. He left early. I wonder was that towards the end, was it?
yeah,
Um,
yeah, and he wasn't. The thing was, he's still an amazing player in Conor Murray, but it just
right.
his hands weren't up to the pitch of the game. Do you know what I mean? And the ball must have been a fucking bar of soap, but he was just not up to the pitch of the game at this stage, and it fell out of his hands in the most weird, awkward way. It was like, what? You had it, and then it just went, no, it's gone now. It was just sickening for him, but all in all, yeah, a great response to see from Munster. Unfortunately, Peter O'Mahony and Ollie Yeager have gone for scans and won't be available this weekend. Hamstring O'Mahony, shoulder
Mm,
Yeager, and Mike Healy
mm,
looked fairly well. He'd come off, did something gammy to his ankle, and he was having a great game. Like nothing was bouncing off his chest. He was catching every ball that came flying down on top of him. Like, but so they're
yeah.
leaving it to the last minute to make a call on him, but three, I mean Jaeger still
Who
new
they
enough,
have? Just again.
new
Sorry.
enough to have on the scene, but at the same time, you know, a loss to lose a 20 stone front rower, But then saying that, Stephen Archer, come on, had an unbelievable game, like just
Mm.
still absolutely putting it out. And they have Leinster Munster this weekend, which
Oh,
will be
sorry. Jesus. Yeah, that's on Saturday. Yeah. Fuck. Great.
very,
great kind of momentum builder to come into the weekend then.
It will. It'll be very interesting to see Arge coming on, or if he starts, because he was in
Yeah,
blue. He was in blue at the weekend, and it was just weird. It was just weird to see him in blue. Like,
yeah, the fucker. Look, of all the South Africans, I'm not coming around to him yet.
I don't worry if it at all helps. I absolutely fucking roasted him for doing that to his face. So if that helps at all, I mean, I roasted him bad, like
Um,
almost as
yeah,
good.
it does.
That on top, I said, look, and I even factored in the fact that he, tried to kill three of his teammates with a barbecue. Um, that time, like where he burnt everybody, and he loved it. That was the thing. To be fair, he was a great sport. He loved being ripped asunder. So, but
I know. I mean, he's apparently a wonderful fella, and I'm really like for him the fact that the move was also based on like his wife's professional career as well.
yeah,
Like that's not often something that comes into the conversation, and I really enjoyed that, and I was like, well, fucking fair play, but I'm also very mad at him.
yeah, of course, Jesus, yeah, yeah, of course.
It's like being
But
mad at like someone in your family. Like, go away from me. Go away.
yeah, we need time apart. I can't look at you right now. This is still
Yeah.
gross. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they play this weekend. Um, big shout out to Tom Farrell, actually, who coming from Connacht. He had I'm not going to say, I mean, I won't say he was my man of the match, but I wouldn't have been upset had he been given it. But great to see a fella who was plagued with injury, but was on Ireland's radar and absolutely laid down a marker the other night. Like, he is a serious baller. Like, and not in any, and ultimately confident. Wasn't just going, right, I'll just be the man to shovel it on for my first start. Nah, he was taking on every fucking thing. And a bloody good player too. So it'd be right interesting if they start him and Nankivell at the weekend. And also, was it, I don't know what the other lad, is it Fitzgerald is his name? He was playing AIL last year, which is class to see. That Munster, because they don't have the range of the schools teams, they are dipping into the AIL. They're looking at the AIL for serious players, which is brilliant.
Yeah, that's good.
Did you get to watch
Good to see.
the women against Canada? You had said you'd warned us of Canada that they were it wasn't in any way relatable to the men's team.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that should be people be like, Canada, what? But Canada are number 2 in the world, like.
Yeah,
But it's funny watching Canada play. They look. This is like no offense to Canada because they're number 2 in the world and they're brilliant. And I've always have had so much admiration for Canada that they achieved their success not in the shadow of the men's game. They're just like
yeah,
because
yeah, 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 yeah.
there's they have, they didn't need to start a women's team because there was a men's team there already. But the reason, and this dawned on me when I was in college, and there was a lot of Canadian players turning up, like from doing their study abroad, and they'd come down to the rugby team and they'd be very, very good, and you'd almost not be expecting it. But I learned through what Canadian women's rugby was like. But basically, it's a college sport that kind of counters all the men's sports that are there, and rugby is like one of the most popular women's ones because like ice hockey, I suppose like American football that that would be popular in Canada too. But basically, rugby is like one of the most popular like field sports for women there, and they play so well, but their technique is terrible or something. I don't know. They're all like their hands where they're kicking the ball like their hands are in the air. Like they just don't look like conventional rugby players, which again is kind of admirable because they're so good. They're just fucking hard as nails. And yeah, they played well, and it was a funny kind of a game. Like Ireland had got 2 yellow cards.
I
Like,
know. Yeah, Christ.
So 13, and you know what? They still played fucking well. I just can't. Nothing is. I don't actually care that Ireland lost. Not they don't. They still don't look shook. And we were talking about obviously Aoife Wafer last week, which I feel like we will be talking about for a long time every week. She'll be our new. Like I was thinking about this. Do you know we have like AD after DuPont? We're going to have like AW after Wafer as well,
Yeah,
for sure. Like
yeah.
this is the change of things. But oh yeah, in the scroll, like on the mic's ref, you can hear Canada, from the defense saying, wafer, yeah. So basically, they have her fucking targeted. This is it. Like, this is what I was saying. This is going to start for her now. She is going to be like one of the earmarked players because she's so fucking good. And it creates a bit of fear around Ireland because she's so good. So, and she was brilliant again. Like, that kind of like characteristic pick up from the back of the scrum she has. And like, she kind of nods her head in the first few steps and then just goes like,
Bit of a Sean
where,
O'Brien. I was just looking at it the other day. A bit of a Sean O'Brien about her. Like she was like she
yeah,
loves it. Do you know what I mean? She
yeah.
absolutely loves it. There's that yeah, just as you said, there's a giddy up right at the beginning. It's like, oh, you got oh right, you just
Not
hit the
prepared. Yes, exactly. It's just I like pray to God, like touching wood here, that that's something we're going to be watching for a fucking long time, and defenses are going to be like, oh no, like whoever is the open side there was going to be like, fuck,
I think it's
for
up
a
to
long
everybody.
time.
It's up to everybody else now to to not to mold their game around Wafer, but to be almost like the French team. You go if he's off, we're after him. Do you know what I mean? If he's
Mm,
away, to be somebody be
mm,
on either shoulder. Do you know what I mean? And
yeah,
be ready. Same thing
yeah,
with her. And not,
yeah.
you wouldn't believe you would. It's easy nearly turn around at this stage and go, hey, if Eva has it, I know you're all class, but if Eva has it, get after her. Just get after her because something cool is about to happen. Like, just do not
Mm,
let her by herself because
yeah.
she'll bust open the door. She will bust defenses and put them on the back foot, and ye better capitalize on it. Do you know the kind of way? There's
Yeah, that's, but
times
that's
when I see it,
exactly what happened.
yeah,
Sorry, go on.
because there's times I'm seeing it, I'm like, Jesus Christ, she's doing this. She's operating in another dimension. You need you need to almost know what she's about to do next so that you can be up there with her because if she busts open a door for you, be fucking in after it. Like, you know what I mean? Don't, like, she's done all this hard work for you and put everybody's running on the back foot. Now's the time to kill him. Like, like, she's the heavy
But
artillery
then
you send in first. Like, that's going to absolutely level everything.
But she had an unbelievable carry, like I don't know how many meters. And then the best thing about it is the quality of players around her. Then it's not just her on her own.
Yeah.
Like there's fucking like Dan O'Brien. Now she didn't have her best game because she made a few kind of uncharacteristic errors, but like whatever, that happens, and everyone has days like that. But the way she's able to sit in behind, then crossfield kick, bang, no bother,
Oh, I loved it.
Emer
I loved it.
touching down the corner. That came off, yeah, Aoife's carry, but then having the players around her to finish it off. So that's the exciting thing as well. It's not like you're like, oh, sure, there was no one with her,
Yeah,
or
yeah,
oh, sure,
yeah.
she's on her own. Like the quality of player around her, and like Wafer's wearing 7, but she's playing 8 in attack, and then defending 7. So she's doing like she's just doing so much work like around the pitch. It's just class. And like this weekend, like I just I don't think USA will be able to hold Ireland's kind of excitement down. Now, not to USA have been going well as well, but I just think Ireland are however, the way you put it, in another dimension. They're just riding a wave, and even the loss to Canada, like that includes that too. They're probably disappointed because they probably could have beaten Canada.
Oh, they could have.
You
Those two
know,
yellow cards. Like, I mean, you've Jesus Christ, you put rocks in your pockets, like with by doing something like that. You're like, for fuck's sake, there could have been so many more opportunities created if we'd a full complement for the entire match. And they probably look at it and go, not be, sad, but disappointed, going, bollocks, girls, next fucking week we don't make those mistakes. Do you know what I mean? Next week
yeah,
we don't
yeah,
fucking do that again.
yeah. They need the lessons now because it's not good for them to be like fucking steamrolling through everyone. They're only at the start of their journey.
Yes.
This isn't a team that's been in going for years and now they're finally making it. This is literally the beginning of the journey still, or starting to, I suppose the beginning of it was that WXV2, but like they barely beat Spain. They could have with another kick of the game, or could have lost to Spain, and they would still be in WXV3 now. It's very strange, like how one small result like that can literally change the trajectory of a whole demographic of rugby in a country, because that's what that's going to do for our Irish girls.
But isn't that talking about taking your opportunity? Like, nearly like it's taken 20 years for Italy to come good in the Six Nations. In the
Yeah.
men's, and you're kind of going, for fuck. Down to some years, there's talks of letting Georgia in. Whereas, like you said, one kick, they get one sniff inside the door, they get to stick a fingernail inside the door of WXV1, and they're like, right, we're here, and we're not here to
Yeah.
just, take part. We're here to take over.
Yeah.
But to coin
Yeah.
to coin that
Yeah.
bollocks. But it's very,
I
very
know.
exciting to see it, that they've gotten the leg in the door, and now they're like, no, we're going out to beat New Zealand, if that's all right. Thanks very much. Good luck. You know,
Yeah.
brilliant.
Well,
Look, go on. Sorry.
there's a good year in front of us now before the World Cup, and
Yeah,
that's, there's plenty rugby to be played before then. So,
it
yeah,
is. I
might get
sent you.
past the quarterfinal.
Do you know what? What's the betting they'll go and win the fucking thing? What's the betting they'll go win it?
Can finally beat England.
And
That's
then
the
they'll
that's
get
the goal.
they'll get to show their trophy at as everybody's leaving some stadium somewhere. And
Jesus Christ. Yeah.
listen, Clatter of the Week came around. I don't know. Do you have a dick of the day? Do you have, or is there anybody? I suppose that poor bastard from Ospreys that just didn't see it coming. Like, oh Jesus Christ!
Oh, the fucking the quick try for dick of
Oh
the day. Yeah, give it to Ospreys for conceding the quickest try in URC history.
yeah, yeah. Oh Lord, save us. For me, the Clatter of the Week, I sent it on to you, and it was Jesus Christ. They look good. The Emerging Ireland lads. Um, they just look. How are they so well coached as a team? And they've only been together like a wet week. They just look so slick. And as we're speaking, as we're recording, and they just beat who did they just play?
Western Province?
No, yes, did they just play? Because it was the Force that they beat at the weekend, was it?
Oh, sorry. I can't keep track. I don't know. I don't
Oh,
know.
hold on, I shall tell
Who am
you.
I?
I shall tell you as I had it open. Let's just see. 1 second. This is making for great audio.
These are all lads that aren't playing URC now as well. Sorry for yawning. Everybody,
Yeah,
hope I didn't pass
well,
on there.
that's it. I know Sean O'Brien was released from back, and so was, is his name Postlethwaite? It's the most Ulster name of all time. Who's a serious candidate, but
Oh yeah.
he was let go as well. No, sorry, they just beat Cheetahs as we speak, 33-24.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah.
33-24, and it was, and again, I think the picture that they put up was a chap. He's got his finger in the air, and it's the same fella that we have as Class of the Week against Western, either Western. It must be Western Province that they were playing. Alex
Yeah.
Soroka, I should say.
Oh,
And
yes.
anybody go have a look on Instagram and probably Twitter as well. I think it must be Murray Kinsler or whatever. And he puts up clips all the time. But he put up a clip of this lad, and it was just, he kind of took it and then ran. He shook somebody off in a tackle because he was in the line, and then decided, I'm away. Oh, fuck me. He generated force inside 5 meters. And it was titled brilliantly. He just sends him flying like skittles. And there was two or three lads it was like something out of a movie, just bounced and went in all fucking directions, and were holding their heads trying to tackle this lad. And that's what he is as a lad. He's only a young fella, like. But it's just a smash that if you made it, you'd be like, oh yeah, oh yeah. Like, and of course a try comes off the back of it, But it was Ifo Wafer-esque in how he smashed three people and they all went flying. It was just beautiful, but it's very
Yeah.
easily found what I'll do is I'll share it to my Instagram and tag Anna as well. But an absolutely lovely platter of the week.
About Clutter of the Week. Yeah, he's been around for a while actually. Alex Rocco. It's good to get. Do you know if you when you think about really the Irish squad is such a small place. Like if you're outside of that, then like you know you could feel really far away from an Irish jersey. So it's good to have an emerging Ireland squad, even if it's just for Simon Easterby's gain. But anyway, it seems to be going well for him. So
That's great.
that's
I
good.
mean, it's great. Like it's as you said, it's for lads who may or may not be getting a look in, even with their own province. Like and Alex Kendallen is the captain, and I mean he ain't
Yeah.
starting typically when John Hodnett is fresh and firing, but a great candidate we've seen, and is having a great tournament as well. So
Yeah.
he's one injury away from maybe getting a call up to the main thing. Like, and it's jeez,
There it is.
there it is,
Finally.
there it is, there it
Um,
is.
Another quick point, sorry, on the women's game now. This might seem like a small little thing, but it's kind of related to what we're talking about in terms of like tours and stuff. But like the Irish women's squad flew someone out to Canada, to Vancouver. Like flew an extra player out to cover someone who's injured. Um, even though they probably mightn't even play, like they've got enough players to get through a squad, but they obviously wanted an extra body in training, and like giving that opportunity to a young player, flying them out, having them join up with the squad, like that never happens, or at least it hasn't happened before, in the women's game. So that's just another like really like cool,
Well,
really cool thing to have happen.
that's very encouraging that somebody opened the purse strings for such a thing. Like going here, emergency, open the fucking, get her over. We need her. Is she going to
Yeah,
start?
and
No. Who knows what she's going to do? We just need her at training.
exactly.
And no more
Yeah.
questions. Just get her over here now. Do you
Yeah,
know?
exactly like we would in the men's game. You
Yes.
just have someone flown out to hold a bag, but to be part of it because they're needed and they need to hold a bag. So
Brilliant.
yeah.
That's
So
absolutely
yeah.
class. Uh,
Um.
I'm away to find a park somewhere in the hope that Antoine Dupont shows up and just starts throwing a ball at me. Just to see.
Yeah. Yeah. I might do the same. He might be more likely to turn up in a park here.
Yeah,
Or
that's the thing than somewhere in South
maybe,
Tipperary, but you know.
even though it's fucking probably easier to get to South Tipperary than it is to La Rochelle. I told you I started a course. I have to do a coaching course here in France, and I have to go to Brive. Well, by God, the trains. I spent like a whole 48 hours on trains just to go for this like interview to start a course in France. We have to do a coaching course in France. So well, you know how that goes.
Oh Lord.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Right. Till next week. Mind the rocks.
Mind the rocks.
It's the Banana and Bears